that walks through the aspects of the RFO. I'm Jessie Denver, and I'm a director in the Transportation Electrification Program here at East Bay Community Energy. And I'm joined by my colleague, JP Ross, who is our Vice President of Distributed Energy Resources and Innovation. East Bay Community Energy is the default not-for-profit load-serving entity or public power provider in Alameda County and the city of Tracy. We are structured as a joint power authority that was created by the cities and the county of Alameda. And the reason why we were created was to provide electricity service to residents, commercial, industrial, and municipal customers at a lower price point with higher renewable energy content to help our local government partners achieve their climate action goals faster and to save residents and businesses money. EBCE is also tasked with developing climate-related programming that at a local level can help our JPA member communities achieve their goals faster. And to that end, transportation electrification is one of our most strategic and priority programs that we are working on. We are specifically focused today and through this RFO on medium and heavy duty goods movement and market acceleration of zero emission vehicles in the goods movement space. This is because, by all accounts, EBCE's service territory is one of the most strategic goods movement regions in the United States. And it is home not only to the Port of Oakland, but all of the major freight corridors, including I-80, 580, 880, 205, leading out to I-5. So both local, regional, statewide, national, and international markets, those goods run throughout our service territory. And since we posted this RFO, we are pleased to share that the city of Stockton has also opted to join East Bay Community Energy's Joint Power Authority. And so we will be serving as the default public power provider in the city of Stockton in the coming year or so, which means projects in the city of Stockton would also be eligible for this RFO. So we'll probably issue an addendum to the RFO just noting that, because that is a new development over the course of the last few weeks, where Stockton City Council voted to join the JPA and EBCE Board of Directors approved that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and run through the program summary of what it is exactly that we're trying to achieve through this RFO. We have a goal of becoming a first mover market for zero emission, medium and heavy duty goods movement, class 3 through 8 vehicles by 2030, class 3 through 6, and by 2045, all class 7 and 8 vehicles, zero emission. And one of the efforts that we know we need to undertake is financing solutions that can help stakeholders deploy both the vehicles and the charging infrastructure necessary to support a zero emission, medium and heavy duty goods movement economy. So EBCE, through this RFO, is offering $3 million in loans for zero emission, medium and heavy duty goods movement projects in our service territory. And again, this is Alameda County, sans the city of Alameda, which has its own municipal utilities, and the city of Tracy. That encompasses EBCE's service territory, plus the city of Stockton. EBCE's loan will be offered at 5% with a 10-year maximum term, and the loan cannot exceed the length of the usable asset life or customer service agreement. EBCE really is looking to support projects that can deliver zero-emission goods movement in our service territory while accelerating and scaling business models to electrify the goods movement sector. And we're hoping that this RFO helps accomplish that. We also, through this RFO, are looking to support local jobs, the installation work associated with the loan program are required to be paid prevailing wage. Next slide, please. So when you submit a response to the RFO, there are some very specific requirements that we need to see. And that includes a cover letter from the respondent firm, who is the primary on the proposal. You need to note your firm's qualifications, experiences, and references, specifically in this space. Please describe the project team in detail, including all personnel and staffing that would be engaged. You need to please include letters of commitment from the fleets who will be using the vehicles and/or site hosts who would be serving as hosts to charging infrastructure. And if you are a respondent who is the fleet, who both owns your property where the charging infrastructure and/or the trucks and vans would be located, then we just need a letter of commitment from your firm. But if you are more of a project developer or financing entity who will be working with different fleets or different site hosts, and you don't actually own those properties, we need letters of commitment from the property owners that show us that these projects are real and that they will result in actual deployment and development. Please include a project description, and you may apply or propose, you may propose more than one project. And include a project description for each project using the worksheet that's provided in the RFO. And please also make sure that you've reviewed EBCE's loan agreement, as the terms and conditions of that is not going to be modified. Next slide, please. All right, I'm going to pass this over to JP to review the next few slides.
Great, thanks, Jesse. So for loan eligibility, as specified in the RFO, the zero-emission, medium and heavy-duty goods movement vehicles must be domiciled and operated within the county, the geographic area specified, the county of Alameda and/or the city of Tracy in San Joaquin County, and we are adding, as noted, the city of Stockton as well. The charging infrastructure similarly must be deployed in these areas and also take retail service from East Bay Community Energy. As noted, the city of Alameda is excluded from our project service territory. We want these projects to be timely and to come online in the near term. Therefore, the goods movement vehicle fleet deployments must start to occur no later than July 1st of 23 and be completed by July 1st of 2024. And similarly, charging infrastructure deployments have similar start dates, July 1st, 2023, and completion of July 1st of 2024. The minimum EBCE loan amount on offer must be at least $1 million. So we can fund with our $3 million a total of 3 projects at the minimum. We also may choose to fund one project, if it's a greater size. We're not funding project less than $1 million. And then there must be external capital included in these projects. So it can be equity or debt or other capital And that should be equal to or greater than 3 times EBCE's loan amount. So if we loan $1 million, we expect that there's $3 million of other capital that is being invested in the project. So the scoring matrix as included in the RFO includes several criteria. There's the minimum eligibility requirements, the project team and the partner commitment. As Jesse discussed, we will be reviewing their team qualifications and experience in the delivery of goods movement vehicles and charging infrastructure, as well as the letters of commitment from participating customers. The proposals need to confirm with the specifications. Key things that we'll be looking for there is the project delivery timelines, as well as the project capital leverage. The investment goals that we are really trying to focus on are on projects that eliminate petroleum fuel consumption and the associated air emissions in disadvantaged communities, and those that are within 2 miles of transportation corridors, heavily used transportation corridors, as well as projects that are supporting zero emission, medium and heavy duty adoption for smaller fleets with fewer than 10 current vehicles. There are local development goals that we will be evaluating, the greenhouse gas and criteria pollutant emission forecasts from the project, the workforce development job creation benefits that are brought into the community, and that there are business models that are encouraging adoption of other medium and heavy duty zero emission fleets and vehicle adoption. And so charging infrastructure and business models that support additional charging opportunities are also something that we will be looking for. And lastly, the financial strength of the counterparty. So we are issuing a loan, and that loan will be resting on the counterparty and their balance sheet and financial strength. So the abilities of the counterparties to service the debt that is provided by EBCE and the response and review of EBCE's clean energy loan agreement and minimizing red lines on that agreement will certainly be elements that we are evaluating as we select and shortlist and negotiate with one or multiple counterparties. So there will be ongoing project reporting requirements as specified in the Clean Energy Note. This is an appendix in the Clean Energy Note. Again, we encourage you to review that entire note. Essentially, we'll be wanting to report on the benefits that are delivered through these projects, both associated with the charging infrastructure and the medium and heavy duty vehicle operation. We want to make sure that these charging assets and vehicles continue to operate for the term of the agreement. We'll be closely monitoring the utilization and the ancillary benefits that are accrued to the community. And this will be part of the Clean Energy Note that we asked you to review. So the program schedule, as specified in the RFO, so we're a little way into it now. We ask that you submit any questions that you have by the 3rd of October, 2 p.m. We'll take a week, and then we will post answers to those questions on the website. As Jesse mentioned, we'll issue a quick update to the RFO specifying that the city of Stockton is eligible. On October 17th, RFO responses are due. We plan to shortlist project teams the week after that, with a goal of notifying vendors in early November and taking to our board of directors for our November board meeting an action item for them to approve our clean energy loan with selected counterparties. So that is the end of the presentation, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Maybe if you have questions, if you could just raise your hand and we'll go ahead and take them that way. or you can put questions in the chat.
Hey everyone, I have one quick question. So I'm aware of some PG&E programs that could also be used to kind of add additional funding, to bring to the projects. I'm curious, what other programs do you know of that could be considered for, external sources of funding in addition to the EBCE funding?
Sure, that's a great question. Thank you. We did note in the RFO that in your responses to please note if your project is dependent on any sort of external grant funding. If you've already secured that grant funding, and if you haven't secured that grant funding and you're just assuming that you would be getting that funding, kind of what your trajectory to securing that funding looks like. So, for example, if you are a provider or a dealer and you have a customer fleet that you know already has an HVIP voucher that's been issued, but their trucks are going to be delivered in 2023, you would note that because the HVIP voucher is helping with the cost of the truck, and you're accounting for that in the loan amount that you're, proposing through this RFO, and how that factors into the overall kind of cost and what you and the fleet are putting into it versus what EBCE is providing. If you think like, hey, we've heard that the California Energy Commission is going to issue a solicitation for a grant 6 months out for now, and we might get this other funding source, like note that, but that's not a secure source of funding because it's likely a competitive grant solicitation and there's no guarantee that you're going to get that. So we'd really like to see what the actual costs are versus what, your costs could be otherwise. Does that make sense?
Got it. Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you.
And then with regards to PG&E, PG&E has the EV Fleet program, which helps any customer with front of the meter upgrades. And that is per, their CPUC approved programming and budget for that. So any program, because PG&E is still EBCE is the default public power provider. So we provide the electricity, customers still get a PG&E bill, and we're a line item on that bill for the electricity generation component of the bill. PG&E is the transmission and distribution operator. And so those upgrades on the utility side of the meter are something that PG&E would manage on any project. EBCE is simply trying to accelerate adoption of zero-emission vehicles through this first iteration of a loan type program to help with market adoption from our customers in our service territory, by our customers in our service territory.
And one thing I would add is we don't have limitation on stacking. We expect that projects would pursue HVIP and that they could access the fleet ready and the front of the meter funds that PG&E has available. And if there are other sources of financing or incentives, that doesn't exclude a project from eligibility for this program. And
That's really helpful. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks. And John, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I was wondering, if you submit 2 projects, can each project be awarded up to $3 million, or can they only add up to $3 million combined?
Yeah, thanks for that. The program total allotment is $3 million. So
I got it. Okay.
there's some to $3 million, but not $3 million each.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have this year through our board approved budget, $3 million. And so, if this is a successful kind of first iteration of this program, we may come back in the next fiscal year with an additional round of funding. that could be more or less. So this is our first go at this type of a program, and that's currently what we have allocated approval by our board of directors.
Great, thank you.
Great. If anybody else has, great. Sarah, you got a question?
Yeah, I was curious if it's if you guys have considered extending out the project eligibility from just medium and heavy duty goods or goods trucks to things like medium and heavy duty transit or other kinds of trucking fleets besides.
No, our focus is very much on goods movement. Our colleagues at our transit agencies in our service territory have very clear plans around deployment of transit buses, have access to federal funding for buses and charging infrastructure. And for this iteration of our loan program, we're very much focused on accelerating the deployment of specifically Class 3 through 8 goods movement vehicles and charging infrastructure that supports those vehicles.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thanks, Sarah. Are there any other questions we can answer? All right, we'll keep this going until 2:30 or so, and if there's no questions in the next couple of minutes, then we'll bring this to a close. All right, well, hearing no other questions, I think we will bring this webinar to a close. We'll be posting an update with the new information provided here, so it's available to all potential parties. And we thank you for your participation and questions today, and look forward to your proposals in October. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.